Hi, if you're new here, I'm Christy. I'm one half of this channel. My other half, my twin sister Sasha, is currently running an errand. So I decided to do a little solo video on what I'm gonna coin as my quarter life crisis, even though I'm a few years away from there. But honestly, it really felt like a midlife crisis because it was intense. And sharing it with you guys over on our Instagram made me realize that I'm not the only one going through this right now. So I thought that I might share some of the takeaways and tips that I've learned and kind of my experience with my quarter life crisis, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully it'll help some of you guys figure out how to navigate yours. So first off, where do we begin? I guess I'm going to introduce myself to those of you who are new here. To those of you who've watched our vlogs before, you'll probably know some of the stuff, but there will be new things as well. My twin sister and I, Sasha, moved to New York City right before our 18th birthday for college. We always knew we wanted to move to New York for college, and we were pretty certain on the major we were doing, the path. We thought we had it all figured out. We were very certain, this is what we're doing, this is where we're gonna go, blah, 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 blah. We had this entire plan laid out. Everyone has this life plan in their heads, and it never goes to plan, or so we learned. So she wanted to go to FIT and study fashion business management, and I wanted to go to NYU and study nutrition and dietetics. I was really passionate about how something as small as changing a couple things that you eat can have such a tremendous impact on your overall well-being and the way you feel. I've always had a history of headaches, and I found that changing certain things in my diet had a tremendous impact. So I wanted to be able to share that with people and impact their lives in the same way. Well, I got to NYU, and on the first day of classes, deep down inside, I knew this wasn't for me. And that was really scary because it was something that I've been looking forward to, and I thought that I knew so concretely exactly what I wanted to do. I was like, this is the program, it's perfect. I applied early decision. NYU was the only school I applied to, and thankfully I got in. That's how certain I was that this was my path. And when I got there and I realized, oh crap, this is not what I want to do, that was really scary. Anyways, after that, I knew this first day of classes that I needed to first switch my schedule around, and that I needed to take some time off and take a gap semester after this one. I decided to figure out what the heck am I doing, and I took my gap semester, which started in January of this year, and it's been really helpful. I have learned a lot. Part of the thing is I think we are conditioned from an early age into the schooling system. So you go elementary school, middle school, high school, college, maybe you're gonna get a master's, whatever, blah, blah, if you're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, even more school. So most people have their quarter life crises as soon as they get out of college. That's why I had it, I think, right now, because it was my first time that I just had time to sit with myself, and there was no one telling me what the next step was. It was like, it's up to you. And that was scary because I had no clue what I wanted the next step to be. And I was trying to figure out, what is my passion, what is my place in the world, what is the career I want to pursue, and what are the steps I need to get there. And it's easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself that you have to have it all figured out and that you want to be successful by, a certain point in your life, and everyone aspires for that. And one of the best pieces of advice that I actually listened to on a podcast during this period was from a screenwriter, and he said, success is not a noun. It is not a place you get to. It is a verb. It is an action. So there's no such thing as attaining success. It's not a place you get. It is an action. So with things that you do, you can have success, but it's not like, oh, I have achieved success. I'm there. You can't be there. That was really, really good to hear, honestly. January, February, and part of March were really crappy, for lack of words. Part of the reason why is just when you are going through a midlife, quarter life, whatever crisis, it's just, you're so confused. You have no bearing. You feel like sometimes you just want to curl up into a little ball and be like, I'm done. You're going to feel really off. You're not going to be like yourself. Because you're literally just wandering around thinking, like, what is my purpose? Another quote that I've heard is, the opposite of happiness is not sadness, it's not having a purpose. Something like that. But that also, something to think about. So what I decided ultimately, after thinking about this and talking with many mentors and friends who I really trust their advice and I respect them and their opinions, it was really clarifying to hear how many people had gone through the exact same thing. And they'd question, what am I doing? Do I want to be doing this? 10 years down the road, when I'm in my 30s and my 40s, 50s, whatever. And I think an important thing that we need to remind ourselves is that career paths are not linear. Everyone's are going to look different, and it's not also one thing that you can do. It's not like once you get in a career, you're stuck there. You can switch around, but we forget that we don't have to pigeonhole ourselves into something, and that if we grow out of it, we can change and we can shift. It's hard though, I think, when you're having that midlife crisis, the shifting part, because you're standing on the cusp of the fear of what if, and you're the other side. It's like, I'm clearly just unhappy in what I'm in right now. I don't feel passionate about it, or I feel like there's more for me in life, something more that I'm being called to, but I don't know how exactly I'm gonna get there. It's maybe your aspirations, you feel like, wow, it's too big, I feel like I'm dreaming too much. You're not. You can do it. I fully believe in you. I think that the first step is truly believing in yourself. That gives you the power for those things to actually come to fruition. There's an entire theory of psychology on this, but it's really important to believe in yourself and trust that you can do it. So where does that lead me now? I realized that I don't want to do nutrition and dietetics, and I had such a hard time picking something, because now I'm finally where I've been looking forward to, and I realized this is not for me. I don't want to be doing this. I was on a call with my therapist, and she asked me a question that's been posed to me before, but I don't know, having her ask it again was really something I needed. She asked me, when you were little, what did you love doing? What were you always drawn to? And that usually is a good sign of your passion. For me, that was filming, cinematography, videography. I mean, I always carried around some kind of camera, whether it was like my parents' old iPhone 3GS that I would film little videos on and splice them up together in some random app on the App Store, or make music videos with my friends in the backyard. I was always filming, and then as we started traveling, my sister and I bought a used Nikon camera, and I started filming travel diaries on that. We would film vlogs on our iPhones, and I would edit them and do nothing with them. I'd upload them, but on private to YouTube, so no one could see them but myself. And I loved doing that. Something about visual storytelling just hit me differently. I was always scared, I guess, of pursuing that as an actual job, because I thought that if I go down that route and it's my passion and I love it so much, what if I end up literally creating it into a career and then I'm not gonna love it anymore? Like, what if, you know, it's something that I loved so much now, and once it becomes something that I have to make money off of, then it becomes stressful and it becomes something I resent. And I think I totally never even considered that option. And I was like, let me just do something else that I'm passionate about, that I know there's a straight path into, like being a doctor and doing a nutrition or dietetic degree. Deep down inside, that little voice was telling me, like, you should do something with videography, but I wouldn't listen to it. After journaling and thinking about it, I feel this relief. Like, I still don't know how I'm gonna get there. I still don't know exactly what I want to be doing, but I know that I want to pursue this. That is the first step. When you're in this like confusing mumbo jumbo thing and everything, you don't know which way is up and which way is down, find just some sort of direction. You don't have to know the end point, the end goal. And I feel like that's really unrealistic to be like making a plan when, think of your life before. Things shift so quickly, and one action, one person you meet, one thing you put out could change everything. That is something to think on. The second part of this video is kind of the things and the tips I've taken away from this time, whether it's products that I love, whether it's books I've read. I'm just gonna share them, and hopefully some of those resources will be of help to you, and they will help give you clarity like they gave me. So we're gonna start with the first thing, which I love the most, and I think it is so important: journaling. I know, you might be like, don't click out, guys. Journaling is very important, and those of you who do it will know what I'm talking about. I never was a journaling person. You can call writing your diary, I don't care. I never did that. I maybe would do it on New Year's, so in the future I could read like what I wrote, because I thought that'd be interesting to see what I changed. But I think when you just let your thoughts flow on paper and you're just writing, you're able to process things. So I'll give you a few journaling prompts if you're in this. These are the notebooks I like to use. They are Moleskines. I like the ones with fabric covers. I don't know, I think they're really cute. I'll have all of the products I talk about linked down below on our shop page on our blog. I adore these. So I've already gone through one. This was the first one I purchased last year, and this is my second. A little journaling prompt I want to give you is write down a list of your loves. It doesn't have to be something profound. It can be like, I love my iced coffee in the morning. Okay? And you're gonna be like, Christy, how is that gonna tell me what my passion in life is gonna be? Okay? How is that gonna tell me what career path I wanna take? Well, if you write it down, you can sort of gather a theme that's underlying in those. It might not jump out at you immediately, but if you look at it a little closer, you might just notice there's certain things that like I do love, but I've never even considered making like a career out of. I wrote down my list and I was like, wow, this seems right. Like I feel like I could create something out of this or incorporate it into my life. So the first thing I had on my list was visual storytelling. Then I had reading, baking, home design, sweats, coffee, flower arrangements, sunsets, pastel colors, activewear sets, self-care, hydration. I love water bottles. I'll get into that. Journaling, mantras, empowering women, cooking, tennis, anything, you name it. Put it on there and you might just surprise yourself. The next thing that I think was something which immensely helped me was reading. I read a ton of female memoirs about their lives, their careers, primarily people who were either entrepreneurs or had a really influential mark that they left on the industry they worked in. So one book, I finished it this morning. I literally could not put it down. It was so good. And that is Elaine Welteroth, her book, More Than Enough. So my sister bought this book over the summer, Sasha, and she loved it. She could not stop talking about it. She read it while we were at the beach, and every single time we'd go on our evening walk, she would tell me whatever she read that day from that chapter, like how it related to her. And it's interesting because she related so much to this book almost 7, 8, 9 months ago, and I feel like it literally speaking to me 9 months later as well. So I'm definitely going to read this. She had a really cool career. She went on to be the editor of Teen Vogue. She worked alongside Anna Wintour, and she was the second Black female to hold that position. She kind of talks about how she navigated that role and that industry, which is predominantly white, and the difficulties that she came across and how she carved out this really cool career for herself. I mean, she's an inspiration. I gotta say that. And at the core of her career, she had her passion on uplifting women. That was her goal. She wanted to uplift as many women as she could, and I feel like she truly did that. So she's a major inspiration. She's also a really good writer, hence being an editor in a magazine. So definitely highly recommend her book. She said something in the book towards the end which really hit hard for me. She spoke about how your career is a marathon, not a sprint. So she said, it's a mindset of a marathoner, the pace of someone who understands the difference between a sprint towards short-term wins and the stamina required for long-term success. Growing a sustainable career that withstands the test of time requires consistent energy that builds momentum over time. But when you have been running nonstop on a hamster wheel toward a goal with blinders on, you might not know how to slow down, yet alone get off, even when you need to. This is the last quote that I really liked. If we aren't vigilant, we can move through our entire lives feeling smaller than we actually are, by playing it safe, by unconsciously giving away our power, by dimming our radiance, by not recognizing there is always so much more waiting for us on the other side of fear. But when we are brave enough to go there, to grab what we want, to tap into who we are, damn, it feels so good. So, if any of that stood out to you, you should totally read this book. I would highly recommend it. I also just wrote a blog post with Sasha on all of the books we read through this year. All of mine were memoirs and autobiographies. So if you want to see some of the other stuff that I read and if I recommend it or not, I'll have that blog post linked down below. My next recommendation for your quarter or midlife crisis is going to be skincare. You might ask, why do I need skincare? I'm having a crisis. Well, if you're anything like me and you cry a lot, it's skincare and hydration, because no one wants to have puffy eyes in the morning when they wake up. It's kind of like after you cry, you want to release it. You don't want to carry it on with you for the rest of the day. So these are the products that I really love using. The first thing I start with is a good eye cream. You're going to want a good eye cream because you might not get a lot of sleep. You know, puffy eyes are a real thing when you cry a lot. I hope someone can relate with me and I'm not just like crazy over here. recommending eye cream as a midlife crisis thing. You can tell I'm kind of going through one. I love the Tula Rose Glow and Get It. It is a stick sort of eye cream. I'm literally at the end of it, and you just apply it. Tip, apply your eye cream right here. That way it will actually go up and you'll notice a bigger difference. The next thing is lip balm. This is Ilia's Lip Wrap Hydrating Mask. It is amazing. I highly recommend it. The consistency is super light. It's not tacky or sticky like some lip masks are. It literally just melts in and your lips feel so nourished. And the final thing is the Ordinary's Marula Oil. I use this as a moisturizer for my dry skin because also crying a lot kind of dries you out. So this is really nice. When you're sad, you don't want to do a full-on skincare routine. Sometimes you just need to wash your face and put something on. And this is an easy step. I noticed my skin is always super glowy whenever I use this, so I would totally recommend it as well. Moving on. The second part of that was hydration. I'm really bad at drinking water, I'll be honest. That's always one of the things I know I can do better on. Always on my goals, never get there. But my one tip for when you aren't drinking water is to buy yourself a new water bottle. And for some reason, having a new water bottle just gives you the motivation to drink water out of it. You're just like, I love this thing so much. I'm so excited. I've had a couple hydro flasks before that I've liked. I always got them in white and I would take them with me to school. They'd get so dirty and I would drop them all the time because I'm super clumsy and have butterfingers. So they were just completely dented and gross because white shows everything. So I got myself a new one. I ordered it impulsively on Amazon one night and it came the next day. Keeps your water super cold. I know it's basic, but I thought this is a cute color. I think it's their slate. It looks kind of lavender, but I know it's not the lavender one. And the little flippy lid. It's definitely motivated me to drink more water. My next tip, which isn't really a tip, it's more of like clothing wise, is this hoodie. I got this hoodie and it is the softest thing ever. The inside is like a fleece, and then the material, I mean, it's amazing. And I love, love, love this color. This is the bone. I'm pretty sure this color is sold out, but they have it in a bajillion other colors. It'll also be down below. Just having a nice, clean sweatshirt to change into, it just does it for you. I mean, it puts you in a better mood. Embrace the season. You want to wear leggings and sweatshirts. I mean, if dressing up works for you, by all means do it, but I could not even think about putting on jeans. I was like, don't want to do that at all. So get yourself a nice comfy sweatshirt, something that'll bring you some joy whenever you get dressed in the morning, even if it's just in sweats and leggings. Okay, that's kind of all that I have. I wanted to leave you with one piece of encouragement, and that is, it takes time. I feel like we all go through this where we are completely lost. Lean on the people around you. Lean on people's memoirs, books, people who've been through that, and try and see if you can take away anything from their experience. You're not alone. That's the biggest thing that I want you to do.